Chapter 8 Expansion of Good of book What is Destiny? The Absolute Law of Karma by Sharma Acharya. For expansion of good, we need to sow the seeds of goodness in our heart and mind and also in the world around us. For this, we need to plow the land and uproot the evils. What should be our course of action in this world to eliminate the vices? In this context, example of the sun is worth emulating. Its light dispels the darkness. Its heat forms the clouds. Clouds bring down rain and cool the heat. When we take food, hunger goes by itself, and when we follow laws of health, weakness is removed without much effort. In order to remove ignorance, we try to acquire knowledge. An adept way of checking the spread of infectious disease to educate the masses about the significance of laws of hygiene and health. For making the world free of evils, we should work for proliferation of good qualities and benevolent tendencies. The physically sick may be cured by medicines, but no amount of medication and number of hospitals can cure the moral illness. Law enforcement machinery works like a hospital for the wicked. It can take care of only contingencies. However, law cannot remove the root causes of social ills. Para ends. Subheading. Acquiescence of evil acts is also sinful. It is seen that in a society, the affluent and the powerful exploiters suffer much less from natural disasters than the poor, underprivileged masses. The brunt of excessive rains or droughts is mainly borne by the poor farmers. Such events of nature on a mass scale are lessons to alarm the later against their inaction and fearfulness. The misdeeds of an oppressor or exploiter would anyway add to his prarabdha karmas. But those who tolerate or meekly watch his wrongdoings would receive the awakening shock or penalty in life itself. The laws of divine justice regard tolerance of a sin without any attempt of counteraction or protest as a greater offense than its committal. There is a saying that, quotes, the father of a tyrant is a coward, unquote. Cowardice and timidity tend to invite suppression and oppression from some quarter of the or the other. Big powerful fish is always on the prowl for the timid small fish. The latter may manage to escape from one, but some of the big fish will devour it. Parents. Laws of divine justice regard cowardice, sluggishness, weakness of character, and ignorance of the purpose of life and its duties too as sins. It is not surprising that these negative tendencies invite harsh punishments. Natural disasters should be taken as still the acts of divine grace. These are frequently manifested by the invisible supreme justice for removal of laziness, cowardice, and corruption from the society. Natural calamities are not aberrations of nature. Instead, these are reactions of out of tune actions of living beings themselves. It is like the process of refining in the furnace. Through such loud warnings, God mercifully tells us again and again to work for eradicating sins from the society. In the next chapter, we shall discuss how and when divine justice gives rewards and punishments for the various types of good and evil karmas. Para ends. It is not possible to eradicate evils by violence or suppression or use of force. Violent opposition would only incite a stronger counter reaction. A surgeon doesn't act like a butcher. He makes a precise incision. Instead of direct confrontation, blabbing, showing resentment, expressing helplessness, follow the positive path of forgiveness, reformation, and love. According to philosopher, quote, a word of love creates much greater impact than a blow on the head, unquote. Everyone has more or less goodness in him. Make an effort to identify your own virtues and make them more effective in life. Also find out the good qualities and potential of the other person and try to encourage him to cultivate more and more virtues. Do not fight your battle in the darkness of ignorance. Make your battlefield illuminated. Do not get frustrated or disappointed by this spread of immorality. Counter it by promoting constructive reformation and morality at your level best. Para ends. Subheading. A positive approach. The only way to remove evils from this world is to encourage and expand goodness. If you want to empty all air from a bottle, fill it with water. Do not associate with vices. Why should you like to collect the garbage of evils? Let others do this dirty job. Your work is to disinfect the rot. Why should you do skinning of dead animals, that is, finding faults of the evildoers? Assume the more dignified role of a teacher. Remember, in this world, quite a few persons have a fault finding attitude. Perhaps there are more persons inclined to punish the guilty than are necessary. Parents. When a child teases another one, quite a few of his companions slap him on the cheek. But how many in this world are prepared to give free food and clothes to a needy child? One day or the other, the evildoers would suffer the consequences of their misdeeds. You don't have to penalize them. Take the venerated seat of the mother who feeds her infant by the extract of her own, who suffers in cold but shields the child in her bosom. You nurture goodness in the society with the affection of a mother. Like a learned teacher, distribute the wisdom acquired by you among us the immature, ignorant, and the way lost people. Parents. The glorious path of reformation is not easy to follow. People may make you suffer, insult you, make fun of you. They may even regard you as a crack brain, may oppose you and create hurdles to block your work for no rhyme or reason. Be least apprehensive about such persons. Do not deviate from your path. The impact of such habitual leg pullers is always insignificant. In the end, the number of these denunciators will be very small against the large number of appreciators of your good work. Their antagonism too will come to you as a token of divine grace. It would provide you opportunities for introspection and correct action. This will charge you with higher potency energy for speedy progress. Parents. You might have understood that significance of persons, events, and objects which come in our lives in this ever changing material world is momentarily and illusory. Therefore, material objects and relationships are not worthy of blind pursuit for their acquisition or attachment thereto. Such detached attitude would in no way discourage us in performance of our duties. On contrary, only by being detached to the material world we can pay attention to our progress without worry. It's a great misconception to regard this world as full of misery. Parents. This world is full of things of beauty and joy. Had it not been so, the free, spotless, illumined, blissful soul, which is a spark of the Supreme, would not have chosen it as its abode. Unhappiness is nothing but absence of happiness. Unhappiness means abandoning a highway and wandering astray through the thicket of thorny bushes. As discussed earlier, mostly the unhappiness, antagonism, enmity, distress, and conflict faced by us is illusory, and people are not as wicked as we assume them to be. If we clear our minds of prejudices and throw away the stained glasses of faulting fine from our eyes, only then things will appear in their true colors. The chapter ends. Thank you.